Soccer fans, welcome into Rio Tinto Stadium. It's sunny, it's hot, it's a good day for soccer. I'm Taryn Meyer, alongside me RSL striker Chad Barrett. We've got the Rio Monarchs and Seattle Sounders FC2 for you here tonight. Chad, just some quick thoughts before we get to the national anthems on both teams.
So, you know, it's going to be a 4-2-3-1 that Mark Briggs comes out, and what they've been dominating in. And Ezra Henderson is going to come out with a 4-3-3. They don't have a lot of their players here because they're playing in Frankfurt, against Frankfurt in Seattle, actually. So they've come with more of an academy team, and we're really looking for them to actually take it to Seattle.
We're going to head down to the national anthem.
Early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you.
Beautiful rendition of the national anthem from Avery Stevenson. Chad, I'm going to let you finish your thoughts on the Real Monarchs, who are looking to go 9-0-0 here at Rio Tinto Stadium this year.
The Real Monarchs, 13-2-1 on the season, have a record 9-game winning streak and another record 9-game home winning streak that is on the line tonight, trying to beat Orlando's 13, set back in 2013-2014. They're going to come out in a 4-2-3-1. We got Connor Sparrow on goals, having a great year. Reagan Doug playing right back. Moberg and Gallagher showing up the center back. Then Lakawecki out left. We got Nick Beasler, the Iron Man, for, you know, pretty much the entire year, has the most logged minutes. Then we have Hanlon beside him. Then we come in with a couple of the guys from the Real Salt Lake team. We have Velasco, we have Salcedo, who are just aching for some minutes, and they've been really trying to get into the first team squad. Both guys are playing really well. Minter's going to be alongside him on the left, and then Chandler Hoffman, the goal scorer. 10 goals on the year, third in the league. He's looking to really maybe get a hat trick today. He's playing against a very lackluster S2 team.
Seattle Sounders coming into this game 6th place in the Western Conference. Chad, what are your thoughts on really a very young team, a lot of academy kids, only 4 USL first team members, as you said. They are with the first team playing in Seattle against Frankfurt. What does this mean for the academy kids, and what do you see in this lineup tonight?
Well, it's a giant opportunity for both teams, S2 and the academy kids, because when you play against these, you know, Frankfurt teams and these teams that come in, much like we'll do when Man United comes and plays us, it's an opportunity for you to show not only how you play against people in your league, how you play against the best players in the world. So that's an exciting opportunity for the S2 guys. Unfortunately, though, that means a lot of the academy guys are going to have to come here and play here. They only have 4 actual S2 players that made the trip: Ocampo, Rankin, Grant, and Ramos. And so it's going to be a very tough task today for Ezra Henderson. But like I said, when you have an opportunity to show what you can do, a lot of times enthusiasm and everything like that can come into play. So what Real Monarchs need to do tonight is to jump on them early, get that goal early, and just let them know that they're going to be in for a very long night.
Absolutely. And 2 of their last goal scorers, both goal scorers, I should say, from the Vancouver game, coming off a 2-0 win at Vancouver, Ray Sari and his name is escaping me. They are not present with this team here tonight?
Well, I mean, they've been scoring goals for the S2 team. So, you know, that naturally means, hey, you've been scoring goals, come prove yourself. You get a chance to showcase your talent in front of the 40,000 fans, 50,000 fans that are going to show up at CenturyLink Field. It's a big opportunity for them. And that is going to result in a big opportunity for them playing in the U.S. A lot of these kids are playing the USL for the very first time.
And that name was Zach Mathers. I apologize to you, Zach. And we are underway here. The Monarchs attacking left to right on your screen. Seattle, right to left. Sebastian Salcedo, early pressure. Look for him to really get in and play that position that Sebastian Velasquez gets into, that midfield rotation, really pull the strings in there for the Monarchs tonight.
And that's going to be a big thing for them this tonight. Get on these players early. Let them know that they don't have that same time that they have for the academy. It's a level up. It needs to be a pace above everything else that they've been used to. And that'll lead to a lot of mistakes and a lot of open opportunities for the Monarchs.
Offside there on Alfonso Campo, number 49, up top for S2. Taking down Moberg in the corner.
Biggest thing here is going to be for them to do short passing. You want to get after this team when they make mistakes, but you also want to keep the ball and make them run. High altitude, a lot of these kids have never played here before. They don't know what it's like playing in this altitude and under this heat conditions. Let the ball do the work and let them tire themselves out.
Moberg with the big switch out to Chase Minter. Saw that a lot on Wednesday night as Minter gets a ball crossed into the box, intercepted.
And right there, you saw what the Monarchs love to do. They love to get the ball, that big switch over to the other side. Then they like to cut it back and get that cross. Chandler Hoffman's been probably 5 or 6 goals this year, one touch making that near post run where they're playing that ball in behind the defense, in front of the goalkeeper, and Chandler's been just so clutch in those opportunities.
You know, we've talked about it all year, Hoffman's movement up top and in the box, and not only does he create space for himself, I'm starting to sound like a broken record, we talk about this a lot, that he creates space for himself to get himself in on goal, but he also creates a lot of space for the players, his teammates.
That's exactly what it is. When you're playing that up top by yourself, when you're playing up with another person and it's a 4-4-2, you use each other as there's always going to be something that makes an unselfish run. When you're playing up there by yourself, a lot of the times you're the one that has to make those unselfish runs for the outside wings, and those near post runs almost always have to be made by you.
Sound like you've played a number 9 spot before.
Yeah, I definitely am more of a fan of playing up top with somebody else, but you know, I definitely have the size to play there.
The midfield, Hanlon out to Beasler. Beasler drives forward, cuts back.
This is exactly what you need to do. You need to get Bofo on the ball as much as you can. He's going to play that Albert Rusnak role, that Sebastian Velasquez role. Unfortunately, Sebastian Velasquez and Charlie Adams are both out, and they've been the commanding just maestros in the midfield, and impossible for any USL defense to deal with.
And you just saw the midfield maestro for tonight, Bofo Salcedo. Gets a ball that pops out at the top of the box, and he's always leaning back up and over the bar. First real test, first real worry, rather, for S2 goalkeeper Sam Fowler.
And that's one thing I like to talk to Bofo about in his shooting drills. He's a lot like me when I was young. I like to shoot with a lot of power. But if he would just take that down to about 90% and just put a little bit more accuracy on it, he would see a lot more goals and a lot more shots on frame.
Another foul there. This time from Milo Barton. Excuse me, that last foul was on the captain, David Olsen, tonight for S2. Gallagher gets up and wins that header. You know, Gallagher and Moberg have really been ironclad in the back and consistent because they've stayed healthy this game. And Gallagher had a red card at some point this season early on. As Dunk springs forward here, gets forward, and his pass just misses the mark. Ball falls to Ricardo Colasco, who puts in a very good ball. Just missed there by Chase Minter and Chandler Hoffman.
And that's the run that Chandler Hoffman, actually, I was just congratulating on him that he actually makes. He actually didn't make that near post run. If he had just stepped in front of his defender slightly there, it would have been an easy tap in with the header. I'm sure that he knows that, and he'll be on the end of the next cross.
On Wednesday night, the Monarchs came out scoring an 8th-minute goal. Karsten Hanlon with a rocket from just outside the box, put his foot through the ball. The Monarchs will be sure to be looking for another quick start here, like you were saying.
And that's the thing about playing up here. When you really connect with the ball, you don't have to hit it as hard as you do in other stadiums. The ball just seems to carry, seems to fly, seems to move in different directions, and weird directions for the goalkeeper actually to keep track of. That's why you see a lot of punches on the knuckleball. That's why Albert, Saravino, they had some great shots in the other game. Those balls up here, the keeper would definitely have no chance still.
Moberg in possession. Plays out to Dunk. Dunk's entry ball to Salcedo finds him as he swings it over to Beasler. Beasler out wide, back to Minter, on the far side. And his through ball looking for Salcedo, just out of the range and out for a goal kick for S2.
When you have someone like Bofo, when you have someone like Velasquez on the field, it really just helps the other team out. And like kind of the same thing when I had Cotomic Blanco, when I had Beckham on the field, the coach said, as soon as they get the ball, just take off. They'll find you. You know, they're such great players, and they're so technically gifted that they can really put the ball anywhere. You just have to create the space.
And I can't imagine how convenient it would be to have the Blancos, the Beckhams on your team, and you're lucky enough to have experienced that as the Monarchs come back on the attack. Salcedo dips his shoulder, creates space, and his shot, no real harm there for Fowler as the ball trickles wide right.
Much better shot that he put on the first time, though. You know, at least it's, you know, making the keeper make a, dive, getting him like used to his area. You never know what kind of bounce the ball is going to take. So anything on frame, he just needs to kind of narrow his focus and, you know, adjust his scope a little bit, and he'll be hitting the frame. And he's got a very hard shot to stop.
Gallagher with another big header.
He's such a monster in the air. I think with him and Moberg, not only on that part of their game, but their composure. You know, obviously it's easier to be composed when you're winning, but it just seems like they have a sense of calmness that you want your center back to have. Just that poise under pressure. And as I say that, Moberg, you know, gives the ball away.
It's due for a giveaway. Nice work there from Beasler to cut out the pass from Charles Rankin. It'll be Seattle's throw in on the far side. Another person I've been continually impressed with who just gave the ball back to Gallagher is Karsten Hanlon. Since he's broke into the 11, he's been fantastic. Got himself a goal. He talked about it on Wednesday. He had a fantastic game against Phoenix, took a few hard knocks, and on Wednesday, he was really just a bulldog with Beasler in the midfield. As this ball gets through to Sebastian Salcedo, he just can't beat Kai Briscoe to try and get into the box as his sliding challenge gets knocked out for a throw-in.
You almost want Bofo to take a little bit of a pause there, because what he's so good at is kind of just giving that little pause, and then he has a great little touch out to his right, and that's the shot that he loves to hit in practice. And so I was a little surprised to see him not try and do that there. Him going to his left is very abnormal.
Foul there by Kai Briscoe on Sebastian Salcedo. Free kick coming 35 yards from goal as we see it here again.
That's just a little bit of an over-eagerness, you know. You have the young guys are trying to prove their point. There's going to be fouls like this. They're going to commit fouls that you should not be committing near your box, especially when you have a team that hasn't really played together, hasn't done a whole lot of set-piece defending together.
Salcedo to take the free kick. Keep an eye on Hoffman here on the back post. As the ball is clipped in, finds Hoffman, who plays the ball back across the box, just misses Moberg and cleared out.
I'm sure Hoffman will want that one back. That one has to be headed back across, I'm afraid. He has to adjust his body in a weird way, but if he comes through and he falls in with his head, shoots to the back post, he's got guys crashing on the back post, and they can latch onto that if he doesn't score himself.
Good heads-up play there from Real Monarchs goalkeeper Connor Sparrow, kind of playing sweeper keeper there, who gives up the throw in.
He's been fantastic this year.
He really has. And the goalkeeping core, honestly, for the entire Monarch side has been great between him and Lalo. And even when Putna's been in there, he made the early mistake against Portland in the season opener, but he bounced back very, very well for the time that he's had.
And it's a little bit unfortunate that, you know, Connor's done so well, that Lalo does so well. Lalo's trying to come down and get games, and he really can't because Connor Sparrow and Andrew Putna are just doing too well themselves. And you have to give them opportunities.
Velasco earning the corner for the Real Monarchs. 11 minutes gone. Both teams really trying to find a footing in this game. Seattle Sounders FC 2. Kind of knocking balls forward, not really anything too threatening. The Monarchs throwing numbers forward, looking for an early goal.
You saw how open Chandler was on the first one. Let's see if they can get somebody that open again.
As Beasler gets up and wins the header, knocked away by the defender on the line. As David Olsen slams the ball off the back of Nick Beasler and out for another goal kick for S2.
I'm sure this is some kind of a strategy from Mark Briggs, but the two balls that he sent to the back post, he has people crashing on the near post, and he has one person going to the back post. So that kind of tells me that, you know, you're facing a young team. A lot of young players are prone to losing their marks in the box. So, you know, can he get that one to the back post and, you know, get somebody to rise up? And he's got his good headers, Chandler Hoffman, Nick Beasler, guys that are great in the air. Get them on the end of it. Get them scoring some goals.
Chase Minter with the ball again on the far side, attacking, beats his man into the box. Doesn't find Chandler Hoffman near the top of the 18 as S2 clears the danger. Ocampo breaks free from Gallagher out wide, tries to cut in towards goal. His cross blocked. Defended well from Gallagher. Finally gives up the ball as Max Lakawecki steps. Ball sent in. Easy for Connor Sparrow in the end. As he looks to outlet quickly. Who finds Reagan Dunk. Dunk with the through ball forward.
It's a fantastic ball.
Chandler Hoffman in on goal.
I almost thought he did too many moves there, but looks like he got a handball out of it.
The sliding challenge came in from Riley Grant. Chandler Hoffman, as we look at the replay here, Chandler Hoffman just moved the ball just enough to call the handball. Didn't really think he knew too much about it. Kind of saw it himself and reacted to it. Dangerous free kick coming up here for the Monarchs.
Ezra Henderson's over there. He's complaining that it was in a natural position, but, you know, it really wasn't. You can almost see him try and grab the ball like a goalkeeper right then. I think Chandler lost his footing a little bit on that turn, and he just couldn't get to that ball first before the defender. If he just gets a toe poke there, the guy takes him down, it's a red card. If he gets through, it's a one-on-one. But it's still a great opportunity for the Monarchs right here.
Ricardo Velasco, Sebastian Salcedo, and Chandler Hoffman all standing over this ball. Hoffman with the left foot.
This will be Salcedo all the way. I expect Bofo to try and pick out that far post.
Bofo shot up and over the crossbar. Nothing too dangerous. You know, Chad, that's always a very tough ball from that range to get up and over a wall. You see a lot of players these days electing to go just drive the ball even towards the keeper's near post, hoping for a deflection or just hammer the ball to try and maybe make the goalkeeper make a mistake.
Well, if you look at all the best free kick takers in the world, David Beckham could probably do that with that kind of pace. But that's one of the very few people. The other people that you see that scored a lot of those goals throughout their career, the Perez's, the Henry's, the guys that took one step up to it, because you really just need to put it in a perfect spot. It's almost like taking a PK. You're that close, and the keeper's out of position already. So if you can tuck it inside that post, you're good.
Ricardo Velasco in the box. Chandler Hoffman making the near post run. Cleared out by S2. Salcedo down for the Monarchs. He's up. He looks to be okay as Velasco beats his man into the box. Low cross collected nicely by Fowler as he stretches across the box.
And you almost wonder if Chandler didn't make that run because he didn't get it that first time. So this time he pulled back.
Run variation's always good as Velasco sees the nutmeg and his ball not really threatening for the S2 defense.
If you see Rico, great nutmeg there. You see him getting behind right there. I want to see Chandler just making a dead run to that near post, because all you need to do is just touch it.
Dunk with the ball out wide. Finds Velasco back to Dunk. Velasco's ball. Oh, his dummy for Hoffman wasn't quite on. Defender read it well. Salcedo does well to win the ball back. Finds Minter out wide with Lakawecki overlapping.
Because of Bofo's technical skill that he possesses and the vision he has, he tries to do some things that are a little bit outside. The smarter one would have been probably to take that down on his chest, turn and shoot, or to do what Brooks Lennon did in the game against Orlando City, where he chested through to Luis Silva, which is a great play. He could have done that as well.
Chandler Hoffman wins yet another corner for the Real Monarchs, really putting on the pressure here early on against this young S2 team.
And I expect to see that the entire game, really. I expect us to be in their end the entire time. You just want to make sure you get that one goal, because you don't want their one counterattack on you to end in a goal and you go down 1-0.
Ball from Salcedo comes in towards the back post, finds Dunk, who plays it back across the box. Kind of a misplayed header. Cleared out well by S2. Hanlon gives the ball away, gets it right back, plays Minter inside the box with a clever little turn. Puts it on his left foot, shot blocked by the defender. Pops out to Moberg, whose shot's blocked by
that was really a great
Camilo
step
Santiago.
Really a great step in by the S2 player right there. If he doesn't make that all-important challenge, it's a free shot on goal from the top of the box.
Velasco streaking into the box again. His chipped effort towards Hoffman, again collected well by Fowler. Fowler's done very well thus far to read those crosses coming into the box. Look at it here again. He rises up in the trees to snag that ball.
And you got to wonder if that has something to do with Chandler's runs right now, because he's so used to playing with Haber and Brody on the sidelines. And now he's got two completely different players playing with. He's played a little bit with Minter and a little bit with Ricardo, but, you know, not much. And when he's playing with people that you know where they like to put the ball. So your runs tend to go there.
Hanlon again with the ball, who finds Lakawecki out wide. Hanlon back to Moberg. Moberg elects to keep it on that far side, goes back to Gallagher. Lakawecki streaking forward and checking back.
Minter obviously loves cutting back on that right side, but we also saw him put a great move on the defender when he stepped over with his right and took it to the byline to his left. The cross wasn't there, but you know, let's hope it will be soon.
Ooh. Minter, what looks like a foul. Nobody really asked for it. Maybe his feet got caught up underneath him. As Ocampo tracks down Moberg. Hard foul on Ricardo Velasco there by Christian Kuntz, who's pleading his case. Not quite sure he had too much to argue about.
And I think that's the correct decision by the referee. I think it's good. It's probably not a yellow card, but I like that he talked to him a little bit. You know, just saying, hey, you came to the back of a player that's close to being a yellow card. Watch yourself. Next time, I'll give you a yellow.
Man in the middle for tonight's game, Daniel Radford. Doing a good job just to let the player know. Chad, you and I were talking before this game. This is the first game here at Rio Tinto Stadium for the Real Monarchs that is implementing video assistant referee.
Yeah, the VAR. We've had a bunch of meetings, and we've had a bunch of talk about what it could do. Talked about it on the Horse, Bear, and Lion podcast, where, you know, what kind of role is it going to play? Is it going to draw the game out too long? Is it going to stop scoring? I think that's the biggest problem, is it's going to eliminate a lot of goals. And, yeah, maybe they're offsides. Maybe they're not. Maybe it's a handball. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's a foul. Maybe it's not. But I've always played, you've always played with the referee always making that decision. So now he's going to have to make stops on every big play, and there's going to be a lot of them.
And that's where I'm very on the fence with the VAR. I think it can do a lot of good, but I also think it can interrupt the flow of the game. And soccer's a game where flow is extremely important. It's not like, I always liken it to American sports where there's a lot of stop and go, timeout. Soccer's not like that.
No.
So my hope is that while bringing positives, it also doesn't accentuate the negatives, so to speak.
Well, that's exactly what you're saying. In high-scoring sports, it kind of makes sense because there's always points being scored. There's always, it's always close at the end of the game. And yeah, it might be a crucial decision, but there's going to be 10 crucial decisions a game, and the fans are going to watch that. People that are just trying to get in soccer aren't going to want to watch all these stoppages. Soccer already takes long enough to play. It's a 90-minute game. And, I mean, I think the players might love it, though, because you're going to get a lot of breaks. But at the same time, you're going to kill a lot of flow of the game, and you're going to kill a lot of momentum. And that's going to be, criticized harshly by home teams.
And just to clarify, the VAR is being rather tested for fluidity here. Should have no impact here tonight, but nonetheless, making progress. Olsen in the midfield. Finds a midfielder out wide, who cuts in. His shot saved by Connor Sparrow and cleared by Dunk.
See, that's what I was talking about. We have 6, 7 chances here on the end, but none of them are hitting the frame. They come down here once, and they hit.
See the way he separates himself. Shot takes a small deflection. Connor Sparrow does well to deflect that ball out, and well done there from Reagan Dunk to clear the danger. Kuntz out wide, tries to play through Dunk, nothing doing.
It's a little quiet out there. I'd like to hear a little bit more talk. We were talking about Charlie Adams in the midweek podcast about how there just isn't that same level of communication that he has when he's with the first team. And there's guys yelling at you. And I know these guys are young, but you can always talk. Before the play, always talk. Always say stuff. Always yell. It's after the play that we're going to have problems if I don't hear anything beforehand.
Being a goalkeeper all growing up from the youth up to the college level, I was always told, just be the annoying one. Just make your presence known, whether that's in goal, no matter where that's at. Every player on the field should do that, and that's what we were always coached on.
I mean, that's just it. I mean, I've actually heard some coaches tell their keeper to shut up in the middle of the game, club soccer or whatever, because they find him being so annoying. But me as a coach, that's what I want, because at least I know that he's giving directions, and I hope they're directions and not, he's definitely not cussing out his team.
Fans, make sure you tune into the USL's weekly show on Sirius XM FC, channel 85 on Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern for the latest news and information around the league. Also, don't forget, Sirius XM FC will air the USL game of the week. Please check uslsoccer.com for dates and times. Hoffman's on the back post.
Oh!
Who just misses. He wants that one back.
In his form that he's been in, you expect Chandler to put that on frame at least.
Yeah, you can tell he's looking down. He's not very happy with that one as that ball from Lakawecki gets played in. Chested down by Hoffman. Keeper comes out, makes himself big, and I think Hoffman knows he should have put that one away. As the camera pans away, you can see all of his teammates, their hands on their heads. Something tells me that will not be his last chance of this game.
Chandler has a very good quick memory. He can miss a shot, and then he can come back and score 2 goals. So I'm not too worried about that, especially when you're the 3rd leading goal scorer and you've been on such a hot streak like him. The goal still looks very big. He might just got a little bit too lax on that shot.
Hoffman, 3rd in the USL, like you said, with 10 goals this year, 41 in his career, reaching the 40 and 41st mark Wednesday against Oklahoma City after coming on at halftime, only playing 45 minutes to turn the game on its head.
And I know he wants to be playing every minute, but, when you come on, you score 2 goals, the coach looks like a genius, and he looks like the stud star, kind of super sub that I've been kind of known for back in my Seattle days.
Oh, okay.
I haven't done it so much lately, and I plan on doing it for Real Salt Lake when I come back.
Good. Hope to have you back soon. I know the fans are ready for it.
Yeah. I mean, well, hopefully I can. I just told everybody, I was like, I wish I was there playing on that field. When the 19 games before that or whatever, but that one game to watch, I mean, it's just such a statement win, and it just answered so many questions, and I think put a lot of kind of just little lingering doubts to rest.
Against one of your former teams, LA Galaxy.
I love scoring in LA.
I think everybody likes scoring against LA.
They really do.
Beasler in the middle of the park finds Moberg. Moberg picks his head up to find Dunk, who gets forward yet again for this Real Monarch side, but gives the ball away. Ball clipped in. Gallagher does well to hold the attacker off as Connor Sparrow comes out to play that ball out to Minter, who gives the ball away. Uncharacteristic there from the Monarchs. Several giveaways there in a row. Good defending from Reagan Dunk to pinch in.
With speed. This is where you need to go, with speed.
Good clipped in ball. Salcedo offsides.
It must have been just a hair. It looked very, very quick, very tough decision.
Timing of the run just off Ricardo Velasco. Just a bit late playing that ball in as Salcedo makes that darting run in. Again, Fowler playing to the whistle and takes the hit. Does well to come out and make himself big regardless of the situation.
He looks like he's about 12 years old. Either that or I'm looking really old these days.
Sadly, people say the same about me.
Yeah.
As Connor Sparrow comes out to clear the danger with Alfonso Campo creeping in.
Keeper's got to be very brave, and you know that's exactly what he does. Either you're coming through and you're kicking the ball, or you're kicking the forward. Either way, though, that ball's not getting past you. This is where young teams can really get into danger when they open up like this, because they're not used to playing with each other, like I said, and their midfield and forwards are way up the field from them. So any ball that turns over turns into an automatic counterattack through the middle, which we might see.
Beasler with the ball up over the top. Monarchs really looking for that far side between Lakawecki, Minter, and Salcedo, who's really pushed forward and almost playing up top with Minter dropped into the midfield as you see the triangle between Beasler, Minter, and Hanlon. Now with that midfield rotation, that's always nice to keep.
That's really a telltale sign.
Guessing.
Sorry, that's really a telltale sign when you sense that they're smelling blood, and they're getting more chances. They're getting close. The runs are there. They're just a tad bit offsides. The crosses just aren't there. Score one goal, it could open the floodgates, and that's what we need to see here before halftime.
Dunk cuts into the midfield. Looks for Salcedo, but his pass cut off by Kai Briscoe.
Great
Salcedo does well, tracks back 30 yards to win that ball back. As Moberg wins that throw in.
And just speaking of Moberg's confidence right there, and his composure to know that he has nothing and to just draw the foul. I'm absolutely certain that was intentional, and that's a great thing to see in your center backs. This guy can play right back, so when you're looking for him in the years to come, he has a few different positions that he could possibly play.
Even the Monarchs center backs getting on the score sheet a few times so far in 2017.
One of the biggest stats that I read that was most impressive is that the Monarchs already have 4 more goals than they did the entire year of 2016, which is incredible, and already 3 more wins, and they have 16 games left.
And it just speaks volumes to the front office staff of this organization that really has put together a good team, both at the academy, or I should say, a good club rather, at the academy level, now the Monarchs at the USL level, and of course the first team with Real Salt Lake.
And that was one thing that I thought Jurgen Klinsmann had spot on. You have to start when they're young. I mean, the reason why people are like, why aren't we the best? You're right, we do have the numbers. We should be able to put some of the best 11 players out, for the U.S. But unfortunately for us, a lot of the kids that are growing up, they like to play basketball, they like to play baseball. Their sole interest just is in soccer. The kids in South America, they only have one love, and 3 loves: religion, family, soccer, in whatever order they prefer.
Ball pops back out to Olsen. Gallagher does well to block that shot as the ball pops back out to Lakawecki, who finds Minter streaking up the field. Again, uncharacteristic giveaway as Minter tries to find Hoffman there. Hoffman with a bad first touch.
But you love seeing Hoffman get back right there. He makes a mistake. He wants to win the ball back. When the rest of the team sees that, they don't drop their heads. They keep running with him. And look who's about to get the ball right here.
Streaking run as Hoffman back in the box. Lets the ball just get away from him.
He looked a little tired. He made a 40-yard run, then he made a 70-yard run. That's a lot to do. That's hard to do. You run a 100-meter sprint as fast as you can and then try and put a move on somebody. It's not the easiest thing.
Hanlon again finds Dunk. Dunk out wide to Velasco. Combination we've been calling quite a few times so far here in the first half hour of this game. Score knotted up 0-0. Monarchs with the majority of the possession, the majority of the chances. S2 looking dangerous at times.
And one could say they probably had the most dangerous chance. Connor Sparrow had to make a save. They're really, I want to say that their keeper's done well, but he really hasn't been tested in the sense that he's had to make a whole lot of saves. He's seen a lot of shots.
Salcedo lines up a drive here. He beats two defenders.
That's
and
a great
tucks
goal.
it home right on cue. Sebastian Salcedo beats two defenders with a clever little chip and finds the back post. 1-0 to the Monarchs.
And what did I say? That little move, that fake shot, and then he cuts to the right and he opens himself up and he slots it home. And he went 80% there. He didn't go for full power like he sometimes does. That was an unbelievably skillful, crafty goal.
Well done there from Sebastian Salcedo. RSL first teamer down on loan from the Monarchs. Gets the first goal of the game. And as we look at that here again, looks like the players are going to go for the mandatory water break for the temperature.
And there's that 1-2 that Chandler just didn't pull off, but now he pulls it off.
What a clever little chip in between the two defenders, and you have to be so careful when you get into the box like that. And Salcedo, a little give and go with Hoffman.
And that's the difference that point forward can make. When you're playing up top by yourself, you need to be that guy that is going to keep the ball and you're going to lay off those good passes, because what Chandler tried to do just the play before that is he tried to lay one off and then he tried to run. It's a lot like a receiver in the NFL turning to look upfield before he's got the ball in his hands. And this one, he stayed with it. He got the ball back to the maestro that we were talking about, and then he just did the rest.
Players now looking at a mandatory hydration break for field level temperatures. Soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For information, visit nikesoccer.com.
Talking to Bofo before this game, he wanted to play in this game. He hasn't been getting the minutes that he wanted to with Salt Lake. You know, we got in, Jefferson. We got it, we're getting Rusnak back. So his minutes are going to die down a little bit. So he wants to put himself in a position where he's always showing the coaches that he's still relevant and that he did well in the U20s. He's coming back here. He hasn't, the two guys that have got the playing time, well, three guys, Danny Acosta, Justin Glad, and Brooks Lennon, he wants to be back with them, playing with them. And he's a good enough player to do it. He just needs to play more like this, with this kind of confidence, and pull off these plays.
Both Real Salt Lake and the Real Monarchs look to be rounding into form before their respective 2-week breaks. Well, a week and a half now here for the first team, but a little bit of a time off for the transfer window and the beginning of the Gold Cup here.
And I'm sure Chandler, he doesn't have a whole lot of assists on the year, but I'm sure he loves those passes where, I love those passes where I give the ball to somebody and then they beat 1, 2, 3 guys and then I get assists on the score sheet. But that was an unbelievably skillful play from Bofo.
Back underway here, 34th minute here in Salt Lake City. The Monarchs lead 1-0 from a Sebastian Salcedo goal. Seattle tries to switch the field here.
And there's a bunch of stuff this academy team's not used to. Yeah, soccer's played on grass, but the academy team in Seattle plays almost 100% on turf. And they're playing up there on wet turf, so they come up here and it's very dry in the grass and it's catching. That's just another problem for them to have, plus the altitude, plus playing away. It's a very tough ask for the academy kids here today.
A tough ask, but a welcome task as Fowler plays that ball astray and out for a Real Monarchs throw in.
That was something one of our rookies said to me this year. He goes, yeah, I've been put in some tough situations. And I was just like, dude, you know that everybody would want your situation? if you thought that you were going to play this much as a rookie, I would have laughed in your face because I didn't play that much as a rookie, and I was a high draft pick. But, you know, it's very hard to make a name for yourself as a rookie unless you're, you know, Jordan Morris or you're Brooks Lennon coming from Liverpool. If you don't have the pedigree and the status, chances are you're not going to get a whole lot of playing time. But a lot of our rookies have gotten a lot of playing this time because of injuries and because of, you know, just players not really stepping up.
A lot of these Real Monarch players really, I'll say from the first team, were expected to see the majority of their minutes through this Monarch side, but subsequently due to injuries and tactical situations with the first team, a lot of the rookies, like you were talking about, have been getting the most of their minutes, or I should say majority of their minutes with the first team, which talk about experience quickly and really throwing players into the fire.
I mean, that's just it. You know, Reagan Dunk's first ever game was in New England. His second ever game was in Seattle. You know, he would, you know, absolutely, is he right? 100%. Those are two of the hardest places to play, and especially in the span of a week. But at the same time, as a rookie, you should really just be cherishing every moment. And luckily for us, all our rookies are just sponges. They really absorb everything. It's just a lot to take on in the beginning. There's a learning curve that is really hard to catch up with, and it takes most people a couple years in playing in leagues like the USL with the Monarchs.
Absolutely. Lakawecki whips the ball in.
You see Chandler starting to get that confidence and starting to take balls down on the chest rather than one-time flicks and everything. So you can tell that he's starting to really feel himself up there and feel comfortable and strong enough to hold the ball up against their center backs.
Velasco finds Salcedo. He's looking again for a foul. Doesn't get it. Dylan Tevez looked to have fouled him there. As the S2 attack fizzles out as Moberg takes off with it again, and Beasler with it in the midfield, whose entry ball doesn't quite find the feet of Hoffman or Salcedo.
Seattle just don't have the numbers, you know. They're so tired of defending, and this is about the point in the game when you're playing away in Salt Lake that you really start to feel the altitude in your lungs up in your throat. And this is a perfect time for the Monarchs to really kind of step on the throat and on the throttle and really try and get that second and third goal before halftime.
Salcedo thinking Velasco is making the run towards the corner. Miscommunication there, out for a goal kick for S2. Something we've said quite a bit here in this first half. Fowler's seen a lot of the ball as he plays short to his center back, Velasco pressuring.
That's not what you want. You don't want your center back dribbling up. You just had one center back take 5 touches and then pass it to another center back that takes 6 touches. You want your center backs to play quickly. That just means that there's not a lot of movement from the S2 because of what they're feeling. This altitude is definitely getting to them, and the fact that they've been defending the whole time, you know, they might be in one of those modes, mental modes, where they're just expecting to lose the ball.
Riley Grant with the ball now. So he picks his head up looking for a pass. Plays back to Dylan Tevez, who looks long. To Camilo Santiago, too high and long for him. Reagan Dunk to throw.
Moberg's always got his head on a swivel. He's always seeing these runs. Very smart defender. I'm very impressed with him.
Beasler's ball can't find the feet of Minter as Lorenzo Ramos heads out.
Beasler, because he's an Iron Man, I expect him to be more consistent with these balls. He's tried to play a few that have gotten cut out. If you're going to play those balls, you need to connect at least 80% of those balls, especially as a center midfielder that's, you know, supposed to be making the game a little bit.
I was actually looking at Beasler's stats today. He's got an 86% passing accuracy rating. Coming into this game, he had 1,440 minutes. Talk about an Iron Man.
I think that's more minutes than I've had in the last 3 seasons.
Weird, you and I both.
I'll compare myself with the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I guess you guys do get the most minutes, so that's.
We do get the most minutes, but it's also a funny position. Only one can be on at a time, and there's no real switching around.
Yeah, it's one of the hardest positions to get into in this league.
Reagan dunks ball, cut out by Riley Grant. I think Sam Fowler came to collect that ball comfortably, but his defender taking no chances. Maybe Fowler could have called him off a bit sooner. Not a real threatening ball either. Nobody making that near post run there for the Monarchs.
You can see Ezra's very irritable right now, and his body language isn't great for an academy team. You want to build them up. This is a very tough place to play and a very tough game for them to come into. And yeah, it's a great opportunity, but you don't want to.
As Hoffman, the ball spills in the goal, or in the box rather, and Hoffman finds a goal, number 42 for his career, number 11 on the season.
Pure poacher's goal. What a great touch, great awareness of where he was, great spin, great finish.
Hoffman doing again exactly what he was brought into this team to do, and that's score goals. Talk about getting your confidence back from mistakes early in this game that he feels he may have made. Gets himself a goal. So we look at it here again. You and I were having a conversation as this corner was coming in. Not cleared very well by S2, and defense just loses their man, and Hoffman does what Hoffman does best. Tucks away, 2-0 Monarchs here in the 42nd minute.
The guy that actually comes out to head the ball for S2 is the guy that was supposed to be marking Hoffman on the corner, protecting him from the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper has a lot to do. He shouldn't be the one coming. They should have a guy on that 6. That's what I was talking about, where they're not set on their defensive set pieces. They don't know where to go. Everybody's probably just man for man. I fully expect to see at least one more goal coming from a set piece tonight.
Gallagher swings that ball out for an S2 throw-in, taking quickly on the far side. Minter giving pressure.
I'm sure Charlie Adams is just so pissed off right now on the sidelines.
Chomping on the bit.
Just so many set pieces, great free kick locations. You know, just like I said, a team that doesn't really know how to defend set pieces as a unit, you know, he probably would have had maybe 5 or 6 assists today. At least that's what he would tell you. Very confident young man.
Grant on this near side. Plays back for Tevez. Finds his goalkeeper, Fowler.
I'd like to see Hanlon keep going right there. He's a young goalkeeper. You've already seen him kick one out of bounds with no pressure. Put a little pressure on him and see what he does.
Lakawecki rises up well to win the header. Minter with a through ball. Wonderful through ball to Hoffman. Cut out well there by Kai Briscoe.
It's a great recovery. Very athletic.
Very good recovery run. Excellent run. Alfonso Campo in on goal. Moberg chasing. Moberg with an excellent slide tackle from behind, winning nothing but the ball, allowing for his goalkeeper, Connor Sparrow, to come and get it. Excellent, excellent defending there from James Moberg. If you look at it here again, Campos picks his head up, and by the time he picks his head up, Moberg's there, and Connor Sparrow's out with the ball, and off the Monarchs go.
What a fantastically timed challenge. You know, you really, it's almost like golf. You have to come down on the ball there. If you don't, there's a very good chance that you're probably going to miss it. He's going to put his leg there, and you're going to end up kicking him. And great no call by the referee. He wasn't in the best position. He was running out here to the left. He kind of had that view, but it was from directly behind the S2 player. So I think a great no call, but we definitely almost saw our first VAR moment.
Minter can't get around his defender in the box.
I'm sure Ezra was calling for it.
Naturally.
Naturally.
Connor Sparrow hasn't been called into action much. That's on the one deflected shot early on in the half.
That's what you want. You want your keeper to not get called on that many times, and the few times that he does, that's when you want him to make great saves. We had a couple of games where Matt Van Okel was filling in for Nick Raimondo, and I felt so bad for him because we were just so bad and out of shape defensively that they were getting 9, 10 good chances a game, scoring 4 or 5. But then Van Okel was having to make 4 or 5 great saves a game, and it just didn't look good on him, even though he wasn't playing badly.
Another offside there on S2 as Olsen, just a half a step or so offside for S2. Gallagher takes the The kick quickly finds Moberg. Moberg back out to dunk. Beasler waving at Minter to get wide as Moberg looks for him. Good time challenge there from Karsten Hanlon. Velasco now pinching into the middle from his right midfield spot. He finds Minter. Lakawecki at the top of the box. Plays the ball into Velasco. Velasco back at the top of the box.
And who was there?
Chandler Hoffman yet again checking back. Just can't get a full foot on it.
He just has an unbelievable poacher's mentality when it comes to that thing. Just always trying to find the right spots. Sometimes he's making the near post run. It just seems like in the beginning of the game, he wasn't on the same page as his new wingers. But 30 minutes into it, especially after he got that goal, it seems like he's getting on the end of every cross.
We'll have 3 minutes of stoppage here to end the first half here in Salt Lake. Minter finds Velasco. Velasco's cross into the near post. Hoffman's effort saved there well by Fowler. He didn't know too much about it, just making himself big again. Chandler Hoffman in a very good position, looking for his second goal of the game as we see it here again. Velasco whips the ball back in. Good effort there from Sam Fowler. All credit to him. That's always a tough ball to judge.
This reminds me of a CD player back in the day when you would only buy the single, and you would just keep hitting the back button, back button, back button. You keep hearing the same thing. Ricardo Velasco to Chandler Hoffman, Minter to Chandler Hoffman, Chandler Hoffman, Chandler Hoffman, Chandler Hoffman.
Lakawecki does well to cut the ball out. Lakawecki streaking forward, finds Minter out wide. Salcedo comes back into the middle, finds Hoffman. Hoffman's ball into Lakawecki. Lakawecki smacks a shot and a goal. Max Lakawecki.
The floodgates have opened. And what I say, get 2, get 3 before half. Put this team away and let them know that there's no chance that you're coming back after halftime.
What an excellent team goal there. Lakawecki streaks forward, finds Salcedo. Salcedo finds again Chandler Hoffman at the point, who lays it back, turns, finds Max Lakawecki, who just continued his dead straight run into the box, takes a touch and just hammers into the far post to Fowler. Nothing he can do about it.
The first initial build-up to that play was almost an exact replay of the goal that Salcedo scored, because it went from Salcedo, went into Chandler Hoffman, came back out. Chandler takes a little bit of a bad touch with pressure on his back. Great through ball. Chandler Hoffman has 1 goal and 2 assists in this half. Just on fire.
Who says defenders can't score goals? What an excellent finish there from Max Lakawecki as Seattle 2 looking to get back in this game. A dangerous cross cleared out there by Nick Beasler defending. Ball popped up by Tevez, who loses out to Minter. Ball sent in by S2, collected well there by Connor Sparrow. Confident goalkeeping there from him.
All you got to do is make sure you get to the half. There it is. Kept it 0, 3-0 at half, just as you wrote it up.
Chad, it took a minute for the Real Monarchs to really get their footing here in this game, but when they did, like you said, the floodgates open. What did you see in this half, and what are you looking for here in the second half?
Well, sometimes you can really kind of expect more from yourself, especially when you know that you're coming out against a much younger, much less experienced team. And that's kind of, I think, what happened. You know, it seemed like we were getting chances. It seemed like with the new additions that came down from the Monarchs, we weren't really in sync. We were close to it. We were doing the first 2/3 part of it, but the last third just wasn't there. After that first goal goes in by that great play by Bofo, Chandler Hoffman came alive after he scored his goal. His touches that clean up. He's got a goal and 2 assists going forward. I can tell you right now, the only thing that Mark Spriggs is saying is like, listen, guys, if you get scored on, you're doing sprints on Monday.
Don't think they really want that. Monarchs lead 3-0 as we go into halftime. We'll have the second half coming up shortly.
We built the USL into the largest Division II professional soccer league in the world. And now the time has come to announce USL Division III, America's professional third division league, completing the U.S. pro soccer landscape. It's time for your town, your team, your game. D3 will fuel local pride and local passion, creating a new legacy for the beautiful game and inspiring its tribal following across the country. This is professional soccer, built on a disciplined financial model and operational excellence, featuring exciting venues to thrill fans in hungry new markets yearning for the game. USL Division III, professional, passionate, proven. Pro soccer starts here, coming in 2019. For more information, visit usld3.com.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. God, no.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early.
You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
The 2017 USL season already has been one for the record books, with major new names including Phoenix Rising FC's Didier Drogba and Omar Bravo, and the Tampa Bay Rowdies' Marcel Schaefer adding to the excitement as the league continues to raise the level on and off the field.
United Soccer League, Oklahoma City Energy taking on the Sacramento Republic FC. You make the top play, we will find you. Check out Miguel Gonzalez.
Pittsburgh Riverhounds versus Toronto FC. Victor Sudo drills the rocket upper right corner. This is the only goal in the game. Riverhounds win at 1-0.
San Antonio FC and the Tulsa Roughnecks. 4th minute scoreless game. Chris Turpak in the box falls down, doesn't prevent him from scoring.
This is from USL. FC Cincinnati made some news earlier in the week as they made it to the next round of the U.S. Open Cup. And how about this goal by Andrew Weidman? He does all the heavy lifting. Boom, boom, boom. Smack. Game ends 2-2 against Charleston Battery.
Rowdy's taking on the Richmond Kickers. Oh! Rowdy's cross, header blocked. DeShorn Brown. Look at DeShorn in great position, finishing with the scissor kick.
The thrilling action on the field has been seen by record levels of support in the stands. New facilities like those in Rio Grande Valley and Phoenix have welcomed fans to new, exciting eras for both clubs, while fervent support for clubs like the Richmond Kickers, Tampa Bay Rowdies, San Antonio FC, Louisville City FC, and Sacramento Republic FC has put the league on course for total attendance of more than 2 million this season, a historic high. Sacramento has been at the forefront of the rising competition, too, with Republic FC's victory against Real Salt Lake sending the side into the round of 16 in the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup for the first time. Ottawa Fury FC's arrival in the USL has been marked by a remarkable victory against Toronto FC in front of a passionate crowd at TD Place in the Canadian Championship, while the second highest crowd in Open Cup history, 32,287 fans, saw FC Cincinnati earn a thrilling penalty shootout victory against the Chicago Fire to advance to the quarterfinals. As the season reaches its halfway point, the USL has never been stronger.
Welcome back into Rio Tinto Stadium. We're here with the Vice President of Soccer Administration, Rob Zarkos. Rob, we wanted to talk a little bit about the Academy and where they are right now.
So the 18s unfortunately lost last night against Galaxy, so they're out. But the 16s 2 days ago won in Kansas City against Kansas City, and they're moving on to the playoffs, which will be at StubHub Arena, and I think it's in a week and a half. So it's great, vying for the national championship. So they're doing really well this year. I mean, I think they're ranked 3rd and 6th, respectively. The 18s were 3rd all season, and the 16s were 6th. So really strong performance all year.
Good. We kind of want to talk about Harriman and what point is that in the build? When is the Academy going to be moving in? what's going to be happening with the Monarchs and the full team this year?
So it's a rolling build. The academy section's taken priority because our lease is up with Grande. So they'll be moving out. The coaches will be coming out between August 1st and 5th, and the kids will report in August 15th. So it's coming really quick. Residences should be done by then. The school starts the 23rd. That's going to be done. And they'll start practicing immediately, and their first game is September 1st. So it's coming quick and very fast.
What problems do you kind of foresee or distractions from moving a team in Casa Grande where they're so isolated and all they can really focus on is cows and soccer, and that's pretty much it. And when they come back to Utah, they're going to be around all their friends. They're going to be able to do a lot more stuff that they like to do. Do you think that that's going to provide a little bit of distraction and the academy might take a hit, or is it just going to be you expect it to be the same?
Well, look, Martin runs that place. Not with an iron fist, but I mean, he has a clear vision of what he wants to do and what he expects of the kids. Look, are there going to be more distractions? Yes. They're going to have a school on site that actually has girls there. There's going to be things there, but I'm not as worried about it. With Martin and his group there, and have they set the program up, being one of the only residential programs in the U.S., I think it's getting a caliber kid that wants to be there, wants to do the work, and Martin just instills that work ethic in those guys. So I think it'll be great for them to come to the big city, so to speak. And I think there'll be some challenges, but I just think we're going to continue doing what we're doing. It's going to be so much better having the integration from the academy to the USL to the first team and getting kids looks with the first team at training. It's just going to be something a lot of European and international clubs can do that we've never been able to do before.
Absolutely.
What does it mean for you guys to have such a successful academy here with the Real Salt Lake organization? How does that affect the Monarchs and the first team alike?
Well, you can see it tonight. I mean, we have 9 kids on the first team. We have Brody on the second team, but as you can see with the loan downs, I saw Bofo out there today. I saw Ricardo out there today. I mean, we're getting a lot of the kids minutes and time, and they're getting to stay within the organization so we can develop and watch them develop. The question with Bofo is he a wing or is he a 10? Well, today he's getting a game as a 10, which he can't do that in the first team. He can't really get that practice game, and he's done remarkably well. So I think that we've done it with the USL and the first team. I think having the academy here, you're going to see, like S2 is doing now, a lot of academy kids getting those game minutes. The idea is to get first-team players that have between 50 and 75 games before they sign to the first team. Now we have the vehicle to do that, and we haven't had that before.
And it's been such a hard thing because the academy is so good. The Monarchs are so good. The first team wasn't doing great. So it's like, okay, well, where is there going to be a step up? And people were seeing it kind of get down on us. I said midweek in my show that we should be so excited about the future of RSL.
Yeah.
Jefferson Severino.
Yeah.
20 years old.
Yeah.
Rusnick, 23, just turned 23.
Yeah, 23, yep.
Brooksland at 19. Justin Glad, 20. Yeah. Bofo, Jose, Danny Acosta, the list goes on. So it's not really a rebuilding year because the academy and the Monarchs have done such a good thing. The injuries kind of hurt us a little bit, but now that we're back to full strength, a lot of these kids, like you say, will maybe have to swing down to get more minutes on the Monarchs.
Look at that LA game. I mean, we were finally almost full strength. You're not back yet, but the fact of the matter is, and I saw some comments about, well, you weren't playing the full LA team. Well, no one's played our full team the entire season. That's just soccer. That's the MLS. But there are good pieces there, and as they keep gelling and as Mike gets them gelling, we're really excited in the front office. And look, I know it's hard as a fan. It's hard for us. We were physically sick when we saw some of those losses in Texas, but the fact of the matter is we switched the coach out in the third game. It takes time for that coach to come in and let everybody know what he's doing, everybody to start building that trust in each other, and I think we're getting there. And look, if you're looking around the league, everybody's starting to get hurt right now. We're just coming out of it, hopefully. I'm going to knock on wood right there, but I'm really excited. We're really excited for this season, and especially 18, and we think we're building something that can be sustainable. Yep. So it's a fun time. It's just, hopefully everybody gives us a little bit of a pass and believes in what we're doing.
Now, switching gears a little bit, you guys in the front office have really spent a lot of time on this Monarch side, and it's clearly showing out on the field. And so far this year, right now, they're 13-2-1. What is your vision? We're almost to the halfway point now. What is your guys' vision for the Monarchs going forward?
They were built to win a cup, pure and simple. I mean, if you'll see the players we brought in, I mean, look at Chandler Hoffman. He's one of the leading goal scorers in the USL. We went and Haber played for Vancouver. We went after guys that were professionals, and all credit to the boss, Deloy Hansen, on that, because the first 2 years, it was more of a development side. As you can see, S2 today is playing, 4 or 5 15-year-olds. He said, look, I want to develop, but I want to win. And we said, okay, we'll do it. And he gave us the budget, and we're winning. You know, so it's more the strategic vision that he had to say, I want to develop, but I think we develop better in a winning environment. Let's create a winning environment. And when he gave us a green light, we were able to do that.
And it looks to be paying off.
And I personally think that the biggest thing is Sebastian Velasquez.
Oh.
He's been the star of the team for me.
Yeah.
6 goals, 6 assists.
Right.
He's been doing, burning the candles at both ends. But he's a guy that was on our team, on RSL, the full team, and now he's kind of taking a step back in his career, but he is not lollygagging around. He is going after it, and I think that sets a great precedent for the young guys on the Monarchs.
He told us when he came in, I want to come back so I can prove I deserve to be back on RSL. And we said, if you prove it, we'll talk to you. And he's proven it. I mean, he's a guy that he's definitely going to get looked at by the front office based on his performance. And that we have to reward those guys for those performances. If we say we're going to look at him, we have to look at him and sign him up as our reserves and do those sorts of things. And if he continues to perform the way he has, I think he gets that look. I think we'd be foolish not to.
No, absolutely.
Well, Rob, thank you for joining us here on this wonderful Saturday night. Monarchs up 3-0, and we'll be back with the second half when we come back.
All right, thanks, guys. Hey, cheers, man. Thanks.
We built the USL into the largest Division II professional soccer league in the world. And now the time has come to announce USL Division III, America's professional third division league, completing the U.S. pro soccer landscape. It's time for your town, your team, your game. D3 will fuel local pride and local passion, creating a new legacy for the beautiful game and inspiring its tribal following across the country. This is professional soccer, built on a disciplined financial model and operational excellence, featuring exciting venues to thrill fans, in hungry new markets yearning for the game. USL Division III, professional, passionate, proven. Pro soccer starts here, coming in 2019. For more information, visit usld3.com.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. God, no.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early.
You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
The 2017 USL season already has been one for the record books, with major new names including Phoenix Rising FC's Didier Drogba and Omar Bravo, and the Tampa Bay Rowdies' Marcel Schaefer adding to the excitement as the league continues to raise the level on and off the field.
United Soccer League, Oklahoma City Energy taking on the Sacramento Republic FC. You make the top play, we will find you. Check out Miguel Gonzalez.
Pittsburgh Riverhounds versus Toronto FC. Victor Sudo drills the rocket upper right corner. This is the only goal in the game. Riverhounds win at 1-0.
Welcome back to Rio Tinto Stadium. Both sides back out onto the field, switching sides. We're just now receiving word that there have been lightning strikes 11 miles away, and I'm told that if it gets within 8 miles, we immediately go into a 30-minute lightning delay based on how close it is. So that will be something we will keep you up to date on. Chad, what are you looking for in the second half as far as substitutions for both sides?
Well, I'm looking for more of the same to come out. And, if we can get the fourth or the fifth goal, unfortunately for the bigger players, for Chandler Hoffman, who could kind of make this kind of a statement game, really pad the stats, I think he comes out early, and I think you give a young guy some chances. I see Haber, who's been doing a great job. I see Brody, who's been doing a great job. I see them coming in. I see more attacking changes to get more guys goals. You want guys that haven't scored this year to get some goals.
You see somebody like a Skylar Milne, you see him warming up down there, the Utah Valley University product, trying to get some minutes. He hasn't seen a lot of time this year. This would be an excellent game for him to get on here at home as the second half gets underway. Tevez breaks free with the ball for Seattle, too. Chad, what are you looking for in the Seattle team? 45 minutes to go. Young squad, like we've said the entire time. Second half, what is the mindset coming into the second half?
It's kind of like our game against Manchester United coming up. If they come out and they score 3 goals right away, the fans still want to see a little bit of flash and flair from us and maybe a goal. And I think that in itself would be a win. If they can get a goal early, if Monarchs get the 4th goal, the game's over. And then you're just looking for them to just get 1 goal, just to get a little bit of confidence, to know that they can score, that they didn't come down here for nothing.
I was always talking about when I was playing, back in my playing days, it feels so long ago now. It's only been about, a year and a half, 2 years, that if you're down in a game like this, go get the first, go get the second. Worry about each goal individually before you think about winning the game.
But, the main focus for them right now is to not get scored on again. If they can keep it 3-0, that's kind of a respectable scoreline. It's still been a very dominating game from the Monarchs, but at the same time, it'd be nice for them to either score a goal or to keep a clean sheet for the second half.
You see the halftime substitute play that ball to James Moberg, Taylor Pay.
This is a great
halftime.
Sorry, this is a great place for Bofo, for Ricardo.
Dunk gets forward, finds Minter on the back post, whose header just trickles out and cleared away there by Briscoe. Sorry, Chad, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. Go gadget neck is what you wanted there. It looked like he ran a little bit too far in front of that one.
Salcedo with the ball in the attacking half finds Karsten Hanlon in the middle of the field, Chase Minter now at the corner of the box, who cuts in. Briscoe, very well done there to muscle Minter off the ball.
You can see the kid's strength. You can see why S2 like him. He's a little bit undersized. They have one big center back and they have one small center back, but they're both very strong. The one thing that I'm really loving seeing right now is the movement off the ball. These guys don't play with each other all the time, the Monarchs. A lot of them do, but they're moving off the ball. They're understanding if they're in a space for too long, to get out of that space and have somebody else fill it, I think has just been on fire, and it's been really tough for the academy team of S2 to be able to keep up with it.
Dunk with the ball again out wide. One back immediately after he gives it away. Gallagher in the midfield. Looks like Gallagher is pushed up into the middle of the park.
And you got 4 guys that have played pretty decent minutes with the full team, and at that pace, this is a much slower pace for them. And not at the pace that the Monarchs are playing, but at the pace they're playing against. They're finding a lot of space. When they get the ball, they're having that ability to turn. They're not getting tons of pressure up their back. That's tough for a team to do when they're playing away from home and down 3-0. I understand that. But you can just see the confidence building, and they could really pile on and make this.
Ricardo with a strong shot there towards Fowler, who corrals the ball nicely.
Looked a lot like Kellen Rowe today in the USA in the first half. He had some great rips, but unfortunately they were just right at the keeper. The first shot he took, I don't think the ball even moved him like a single centimeter. It was an amazing shot. Decent result tonight for the USA. You would have loved to see him get the win, though.
1-1 to open up their Gold Cup slate in a balmy Nashville. Nashville, I know, great city, I have to say. I always love their soccer. They have a team coming into the USL next year in Nashville SC. I know that city's very excited with Gary Smith at the helm. MLS Cup winning coach with Colorado.
I wish they would have a professional team that would do that. I'd love to go to Nashville. I've heard all about it. Heard about the music, the concerts, even the Predator games. Isn't that the one where they throw the fish?
Yes.
The catfish on the ice? And that guy got arrested in Pittsburgh for throwing catfish on the ice, and they paid his bill, right?
Wow.
Or something like that.
Lucky
They
him.
gave him tickets to the next game.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't remember what it was, but that was awesome.
Salcedo giving pressure. Tevez finds Grant on the left side here. Moberg tracks the ball down, plays back to his goalkeeper, Connor Sparrow. He clears out wide very nicely to Max Lakawecki, your goal scorer. One of 3 goal scorers tonight for the Real Monarchs, as he got a goal just before halftime. Connor Sparrow gives the ball away cheaply to Charles Rankin, who earns a corner.
You just went from Connor taking 2 touches and playing a great ball out to Max, and then you see him get a little confidence from that pass and try and do a little bit more than he needs to right there. And as a goalkeeper, you can speak to that. Sometimes you're just feeling yourself after a certain kick.
And when you train with Nicky Raimondo every day, who's probably arguably one of the best goalkeepers ever, maybe with his feet, maybe. But no, Connor's trusted with his feet. Just a cheap giveaway there. I think he felt the pressure from both sides and just gave the ball away. As this ball from Tevez gets swung in, dummied. As the ball gets cleared out nicely by Taylor Pay. Good defending there by Carson Hanlon and Taylor Pay. See if the Monarchs can break here. Lakawecki with the ball. Numbers forward.
4-on-2, 4-on-1.
Salcedo out wide. Hoffman wide open in the middle.
Someone needs to go near.
Salcedo can find him. Excellent diving header away there from Briscoe.
That's exactly what I was saying about Chandler Hoffman in the first. That's the unselfish run that he has to make across, freeing up the 2 guys in the back post, because it allowed the guy to get in position to win that header. But if Chandler makes a run across him, he has to go with Chandler.
Fantastic defensive recovery run there from Briscoe. And you talk about go-go gadget, Nick. Diving header backwards to clear that ball out and alleviate the pressure there. Well done there from S2.
And I feel like, I guarantee Ezra probably went in, and he was a fighter. He was a very fiery guy, and he likes to coach with a lot of passion. And I'm sure that he went in, and just because they're academy, just because they're playing against a USL team, just because they're playing away in Salt Lake.
Salcedo gets in on goal. Salcedo in on goal, looking for a second of the game, squares the ball out, but Grant is there to clear before Hoffman can take the chance.
I would like to buy Bofo a left foot. I would love to buy Bofo a left foot. He's got one of the best right foots on our team. But in that sense, can he get that first touch, and can he rip it with his left where he has power, or open up his hips and place it on the inside of the post?
Minter 1-on-1. Minter finds Hanlon at the top of the box. Back to Minter, who cuts in. Touch just gets away from him. Cleared out by Tevez. Ball falls to Lakawecki. Lakawecki's cross out for a goal kick. I think he mishit that one. A little disappointed with himself.
Getting back to what I was saying about Ezra, I feel like he probably laid into him a little bit at halftime. And, they have to get used to that. They can't take that personally. You're still representing Seattle S2, which is a very proud and a very good academy, just like the Monarchs and the Monarchs Academy, or the RSL Academy. So what they have to do is, you can see that they've come out, and yeah, that goal should have ended in a break, but their defender did a great job and really made an unbelievable solo effort there to deny them their 4th goal.
You talk about their academy, the likes of one Jordan Morris, DeAndre Yedlin, who's with Newcastle, he was with Tottenham prior, obviously with Seattle Sounders. Their academy produces a lot of top-notch players.
Yeah, they've produced a great amount of top-notch players. And if you could say anything, they were probably the pioneer in producing players up until now. But just like everything else, it's very hard to keep up that standard and for other teams not to surpass you. I really think that Monarchs have taken that step with putting 4 guys in the U20 World Cup. Brooks Lennon, Danny Acosta, Justin Glad, Bofo, and having others in consideration for the pool. And then you see what they do on academy levels. We were just listening to Rob Zarkos talk about how the U16s are doing good. U18s unfortunately lost. But every single team from the U16s up to the Monarchs are doing really well.
Putting themselves on the national spectrum as Hanlon's shot right into the arms of Sam Fowler.
You weren't kidding. He's got a little bit of a trigger on him, doesn't he?
You're a midfielder, you like that. You like to pull the trigger.
Especially here. If you know how to hit a long ball here, you can really put some pressure on that goalkeeper. That ball likes to move and dance. like it doesn't anywhere else. Maybe only Colorado.
Grant with the ball out wide, asking for somebody to check in. Ball played back into Tevez. Excuse me, Tevez is the one that just got hit in the back from Cameron Martin with a misplayed pass. Ball finds its way to Fowler, who knocks the ball out for a Real Monarchs throw in. Velasco finds the ball out wide, who plays to Lakawecki, who finds Pay in the back. You know, Pay has really been a consistent force. The Salt Lake City native has been a consistent force, and he even got his first, well, I should say his first goal, but his first goal at Rio Tinto Stadium from moving back here. What are your thoughts on Pay since his inclusion into this Real Monarchs side?
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but he has played most of the time at the right back position. And so you have Moberg back there, and that was, you know, one of the subs that you made. Well, Moberg's still in, I'm sorry. You had
Nick Beasler was that sub. I'm not sure if I announced that, and I apologize. Nick Beasler was the one who made way for Taylor Pay at halftime.
Okay, so Taylor Pay drops back into the center back. It's a role that he's not used to playing, but this is a good opportunity when you're up 3-0 to give him that role so he can practice his communication, so he can practice holding the line, communicating, being the leader back there. And with his size and his athletic ability, if he's able to harness the true concept of being a smart defender like Nat Borchers was, he never had the pure athleticism. He was just all intellect and smarts and toughness. And that's the other thing that Pay, I think, needs to bring to the game more is his toughness. Really stick to the other team.
Hoffman looking to spring forward. When we talk about experience early on, Pay won an MLS Cup in 2015, playing alongside said Nat Borchers with Portland, winning away in Columbus. So that just adds to just the depth and the leadership of this Real Monarchs side, and it quite honestly becomes invaluable.
Well, like we said with Sebastian Velasquez, already playing in the MLS and then coming back. Same with Pay. He's seen what it takes for a team to win the MLS Cup, and that's what Rob Zarkos wants. He wants the cup. He wants to prove on every single level that we are a great team. And that's just one step that we need. So when it gets down, when you're playing San Antonio next week, guys like Pay, guys like Charlie Adams, guys like Sebastian Velasquez, who will unfortunately be out, you really rely on them to step up and make the big plays in those big games.
Salcedo out wide, cuts in, looking for the cross, finds Hoffman at the top of the box. Hoffman on his left, finds Lakawecki, squares up for the cross, beats his man. Elects to play in the middle, back to Chase Minter. Minter with a cross towards the far post to Ricardo Velasco, who misses the header as Camilo Santiago tracks the ball down. Won back very nicely there from Carson Hanlon, who's run down from behind, asking for the foul. Don't think he's going to get it there from the linesman on the far side.
That's one thing. How many times do you need to get hit in the face before you need to learn to put your hands up? How many times have we seen Bofo act like he's gonna play that ball, play that long ball, and just chips it right into Chandler Hoffman? And Chandler Hoffman doesn't really have any real back pressure. It's hard to take a foul out there. If they can take a foul up here, I know Ezra, I would expect somebody to come through the back of me and be like, hey, this ball's not gonna be happening that easily anymore.
Absolutely stiff defending as Fowler clears that ball up. Pay heads the ball. S2 looking to break now through Cameron Martin. Nothing doing there from S2 as Dunk wins the ball and then gives it right back to Tevez. Tevez with the ball back again. Tries a clip ball in towards Ocampo, but just over his reach and back to Connor Sparrow with no pressure.
Dunk has been one of my favorite players of the year. He came in preseason, and I'll be honest, I thought there was no way he was going to make the team, mostly because of his attitude and how he just doesn't have, he has self-confidence, but he doesn't exert it. He's not a big guy with his ego in the locker room. He's a very quiet individual. And in this league, you really have to have that edge to you. And I hope he develops that through playing here. But his play and his fitness and his ability on the ball have tremendously grown since the start.
Ramos finds Cameron Martin in the middle of the field. Back to Ramos. Pay wins the ball back there. Michael Gallagher has moved up into the midfield with Nick Beasler making way for Taylor Pay at halftime.
It seems like, you know, Mark Briggs just has a plethora of like options at his disposal. Not only the players that come down, but even the players that are playing. You have Pay, who can play right back and across the center back. You have Gallagher, who can play center back and also has the capability.
Velasco cuts in, tries a curling shot right into Fowler. Sorry to cut you off.
No. And also has the ability to step up and be composed enough to play in that deep defensive mid role and do it well.
Real Monarchs substitution, readying himself, getting his last orders from assistant coach Matt Glazer. Another local product, Skylar Milne, getting his orders as we have a stoppage in play. Looks like Salcedo took a bit of a knock. Him and Cameron Martin both taking their time getting up.
He's definitely got some grass on his knees. He's taken a few hits today. Oh, we just saw a lightning strike. It might be getting a little close.
Remember, fans, if lightning strikes within 8 miles, there's an automatic half-hour weather delay. Looks like we are not that close just yet as play resumes. Salcedo and Cameron both on their feet. No harm done to either of them. Seattle Sounders 2 readying a substitution as well. Looks like Jackson Reagan will enter the match here shortly.
And looks like it's about to turn over here. Can Ricardo get past, make this pass out here to the wide?
Velasco finds the ball at the top of the box. His curling effort up over the bar.
That might be his 3rd or 4th shot from outside the box. You really want him to get inside the box. He tried to thread that ball through the middle. If he had just given one more second, that great run would have opened up the outside. He had 2 guys waiting over here in Bofo and Minter.
Here comes the substitutions. First for the Monarchs, Skylar Milne coming on for Chandler Hoffman, who gives up the captain's armband. It looks like to Michael Gallagher. This will be Skylar Milne's home debut, something I know he's been looking very much forward to. Chandler with a goal and 2 assists in this game.
Chandler, I know, loves to play all 90 minutes. Everybody always likes to play 90 minutes, but a goal and 2 assists and 60 minutes play, 2 goals in his last game in 45 minutes play. His points, his production, his points per game right now, I think Mark Briggs is just trying to keep it as high as possible.
Sounders 2, substitution. Jackson Reagan comes in. Cameron Martin makes way as Bofo. Salcedo puts high pressure on the back line of Seattle, forcing the clearance. Ball falls to Hanlon in the middle of the field. Velasco is wide. I think we might have to see that ball again as Hanlon found Velasco out wide, who is offsides. It looked like the defenders here on the near side kept him on as we have another look at it here as the ball's played over. Not a good angle. Nonetheless, he's not happy with it. Sam Fowler making a good save, whether it counted or not. It's still a great save.
No, but he's getting in the box. He's going to get more chances. If he stays on the field from where we only got 1 more substitute to use, right?
Yes.
So, you know, hopefully he keeps Ricardo and Bofo on there for the whole 90, because these are what you want to do. You want to see the Real Salt Lake guys come down and get 90 minutes. That way they're 90 minutes fit and ready to go when called upon.
Ball played ahead there from S2 off the head of Olsen, who really has kind of had a frustrating game operating up top and in the midfield for S2 tonight.
I mean, it's a 4-3-3 that Seattle tried to come out with, but when you're playing away against a superior team, a lot of times it's going to turn into a 4-5-1, and you're going to be stuck on that island by yourself, trying to just, you know, Wilson trying to be your best friend. This is not going to happen.
Fans, make sure you tune into the USL's weekly show on Sirius XM FC channel 85 on Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern for the latest news and information from around the league. Also, don't forget SiriusXM FC will air the USL Game of the Week. Please check uslsoccer.com for dates and times.
See, that's where I like to see. I like to see that's a great time to get stuck in, and that's what I feel like the Seattle defenders need to do to Chandler Hoffman when he's being so successful. Obviously, the Seattle forward hasn't had a whole lot of success, but Pay made his presence known in their half. That's a great place to give up a free kick if you're going to give up one.
Good win there from Gallagher, who finds Velasco back in the midfield. Reagan Dunk has Reagan Dunk to his right, finds Hanlon in the middle, back to Velasco. Velasco finds Dunk out wide, who's found himself forward quite a lot in this game. His low cross towards Milne, cleared out well there from Grant. Milne lurking at that near post, making that near post run. Arguing for a corner, wondering why it's not coming.
Looked a little bit like Reagan rushed that just a tiny bit, might have caught the ball on his heel. It was a great run there.
Dunk with the ball back out wide after the throw-in. Who finds Gallagher out wide, who swings in a ball towards the goal.
Selfish.
Not sure he was quite looking for the back post, but he'll tell you he was. Another goal kick for Sam Fowler. Salcedo in the box. Salcedo on his left foot, just past the far post.
I like to see that, though. I like to see him try and take that opportunity on his left foot. He had an opportunity to square it. As soon as he dribbles in here, you see Skyler just calling for the ball. And at the outside of his right foot, he probably could have slipped him in. But, you know, Bofo wants to score more tonight, and you're never going to blame your number 10 for being selfish.
You talk about his left foot. I think he may have just found one, or at least used it.
At least he tried. You know, effort's half the goal.
Reagan Dunk rises up to win that ball over Camilo Santiago. S2 substitution. Coming now, Paul Rothrock coming in for Charles Rankin. Rankin, one of the 4 USL players that looks like we may have our weather delay here as the ref blows the whistle. The official's coming through the tunnel to tell us that there is a stoppage in play. So we will enter our half-hour weather delay. If lightning strikes within that half an hour, the clock resets. If the game is in the second half, I'm told by the USL, the game is in the second half, and the lightning delay is longer than an hour, the game stays as is and the game is over.
Yeah. No, that didn't always used to be the rules, though. We had an Open Cup game in Chicago when about 2007, and the game was supposed to start at 7, and we ended up not even starting the game, came out for warm-ups, all that type stuff. We ended up staying there till midnight. Fans, there was about 5,000 fans that stayed there till midnight with us, and they said the game's not going to be played. And so I'm glad they changed those rules.
Yeah, it's always tough. We had a game in college. We were ready for it. It was actually our season opener, and we were delayed. I think we were supposed to kick at 7 o'clock, and we ended up not even playing it. They canceled it. But it's always hard for these players to really come back out, leave the field, go into the locker room, stretch, keep moving around, and to come back on this field. What's the player mentality? And if you're the coach, how do you get your team back up into the flow of the game?
This is kind of one of the things where, you know, it can benefit you and it can go against you. I remember actually against RSL in Chicago, we had a lightning delay for 30 minutes, and the coach comes up to me in the 60th minute and goes, "Hey, Chad, you're going to be coming in." We were down 1-0 at the time. And then I ended up coming in, scoring 2 goals. We won 2-1. And, you know, so it's all about how you take it and the mentality that you have coming in. So if there's subs still to be used, you saw Ezra make a sub right there. He's going to get a little more time to warm up. He's going to get more time to get ready. Maybe he's the guy that comes in and can get the goal for Seattle. And, you know, maybe that, you know, that will be, at least let them send them home with something.
What have you seen with the substitution so far? Nick Beasler making way for Taylor Pay for the Monarchs first. Skylar Milne coming in, making his home debut. And on the other side, Rankin coming in. And then the sub right here, right before the delay. What have you seen from both sides?
Well, I mean,
what exactly I said at halftime. You're going to take some of the better players off, or the players that are having a good game, and you want other guys to come in and score. Monarchs are still just, really ramming it down their necks and trying to get that first goal, or trying to get that fourth goal, that fifth goal. Everybody's trying to score. Everybody wants to score. And that can also hurt you in the long haul, too, because that also kills you in the long haul, because if everybody's trying to score, sometimes you won't play the right pass, or you won't play the one that you're supposed to.
Well, fans, we'll keep you up to date on Twitter, most likely, about our live stream here in this weather delay, how long we're going to go, what's happening. Monarchs up 3-0 over S2. We'll keep you in the loop. We'll be back.
We built the USL into the largest Division II professional soccer league in the world. And now the time has come to announce USL Division III, America's professional third division league, completing the U.S. pro soccer landscape. It's time for your town, your team, your game. D3 will fuel local pride and local passion, creating a new legacy for the beautiful game and inspiring its tribal following across the country. This is professional soccer, built on a disciplined financial model and operational excellence, featuring exciting venues to thrill fans in hungry new markets yearning for the game. USL Division III, professional, passionate, proven. Pro soccer starts here, coming in 2019. For more information, visit usld3.com.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. Since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. God, no.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early.
You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
The 2017 USL season already has been one for the record books, with major new names including Phoenix Rising FC's Didier Drogba and Omar Bravo, and the Tampa Bay Rowdies' Marcel Schaefer adding to the excitement as the league continues to raise the level on and off the field.
United Soccer League, Oklahoma City Energy taking on the Sacramento Republic FC. You make the top play, we will find you. Check out Miguel Gonzalez.
Pittsburgh Riverhounds versus Toronto FC. Victor Sudo drills the rocket upper right corner. This is the only goal in the game. Riverhounds win at 1-0.
San Antonio FC and the Tulsa Roughnecks, fourth-minute scoreless game. Chris Terpak in the box falls down, doesn't prevent him from scoring.
This is from USL. FC Cincinnati made some news earlier in the week as they made it to the next round of the U.S. Open Cup. And how about this goal by Andrew Weidman? He does all the heavy lifting. Boom, boom, boom. Smack. Game ends 2-2 against Charleston Battery.
Rowdy's taking on the Richmond Kickers. Oh. Rowdy's cross, header blocked. DeShorn Brown. Look at DeShorn in great position, finishing with the scissor kick.
The thrilling action on the field has been seen by record levels of support in the stands. New facilities like those in Rio Grande Valley and Phoenix have welcomed fans to new, exciting eras for both clubs, while fervent support for clubs like the Richmond Kickers, Tampa Bay Rowdies, San Antonio FC, Louisville City FC, and Sacramento Republic FC has put the league on course for total attendance of more than 2 million this season, a historic high. Sacramento has been at the forefront of the rising competition, too, with Republic FC's victory against Real Salt Lake sending the side into the round of 16 in the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup for the first time. Ottawa Fury FC's arrival in the USL has been marked by a remarkable victory against Toronto FC in front of a passionate crowd at TD Place in the Canadian Championship, while the second highest crowd in Open Cup history, 32,287 fans, saw FC Cincinnati earn a thrilling penalty shootout victory against the Chicago Fire to advance to the quarterfinals. As the season reaches its halfway point, the USL has never been stronger.
Well, soccer fans, it looks like we are going to play. The inclement weather has seemed to pass just enough for the teams to step back out onto the field and get warmed up. Real Monarchs leading Seattle Sounders 2-3-0 in roughly the 68th minute or so, 67th minute. And Chad, how does something like this affect the player mentality, the coach's mentality, coming back onto the field after almost an hour delay?
You know, so I mean, it's kind of just another halftime, because it was much longer than a halftime stretch was, but each team will be approaching it differently. If it was a closer game, then much different things would be said. But the goal for the Monarchs is going to be just to keep possession, to try and score more goals, to try and finish this game 6-7-0. That way you can kind of show that, hey, it doesn't matter what comes into this game, much like the rest of this year, nothing can really affect us. With S2, it's just kind of a longer, probably, Ezra can really go after his players, and not really go after them, but kind of, coach them up a little bit and do that more individually. And so I think all the S2 players will know more individually and collectively what is expected of them. And their whole goal is still the same: come out here and get a goal and to keep it clean shape for the second half.
Now, we had some blistering rain and wind and lightning and just nutty weather out here that really changed the shape of this field. You can see a few of the players putting their 6 studs on, their metal boots on. How does the field of play, how is it affected now, and does that affect either team's style of play? I know the Monarchs like to keep the ball on the ground and fly the ball across the ground. Sounders the same way. They're used to a wet field like this. Does this weather change anything on the pitch now?
I don't think the rain will change anything on the pitch. What I think will change on the pitch will be the wind. It seems a little bit gustier out there. The wind's really kind of picked up, and that's one of the hardest things for me to play in. I'd rather play in rain, shine, snow, but not wind. Wind can alter a game. It can even the odds. It can make a lot of things, harder for a certain team, whether or not the wind direction is aiding you in the direction you're going, or going against you.
Or going against both of the teams. Referee Daniel Radford signaling that there's 1 minute left in warm-ups before the game will resume. Real Monarchs up 3-0. Goals from Sebastian Salcedo, Max Lakowecki, and, of course, Chandler Hoffman getting his 42nd career goal. Chad, the 3 goals right at the end of the half, the Monarchs haven't been able to find a 4th goal here in the second half. What do they need to do to go and find that 4th goal and really put this game to bed, no questions asked?
Well, I mean, if they really want to score more goals, if Briggs came out to him and said, hey, I want you guys to score 6 goals by the end of this, which isn't unreasonable, because we've been, like I said, ramming it down. The team has been ramming it down their necks. The Monarchs have really been pressing the issue. They've had a couple unlucky offsides. Ricardo Velasquez has had a lot of shots from outside the box. Bofo Salcedo has gotten to the box a few times on the left side and just not really able to hit the target right now. And so it's just about zeroing in and being more unselfish as a player, and maybe finding that nice pass inside to Skyler when he was open.
Fresh legs on the field for the Monarchs. Very fresh legs, actually, for S2, coming on just moments before the weather delay. Look for them to really provide a spark coming in. I know they've been anxious, especially Skyler Milne for the Monarchs. We talked about his home debut. We were actually talking to his family up here in the booth prior to the stoppage of the game as we look to get this game underway here. Waiting for Daniel Radford to get us rolling as he's counting the players, making sure everybody made it out of the slumber in the locker room appropriately.
And I'm sure another thing that Ezra said he goes, hey guys, you got 20 minutes. You got a good break now. Go give it everything you have. Leave nothing on the field, and let's see if we can't get something out of this game.
And we're back underway here at Rio Tinto Stadium. Both teams looking to get back into the groove of things after the weather delay. Karsten Hanlon stepping in well early on, finds Michael Gallagher in the middle of the field. And just as the game ended, Minter out wide to Salcedo, and Lakowecki streaking up this near side, looking for an early ball into the box.
It's a fantastic ball if you have 2 forwards. That's sometimes the problem with only having one, especially when you're up a lot of goals. Briggs is probably telling them, hey, let's make sure that we keep our shape defensively. If we go forward, if we have a chance to counterattack, let's get numbers forward. But let's make sure that people are filling in for those people so we can, keep that 0 on the scoreboard.
Briscoe with an errant ball back to second half substitute Jackson Reagan. Gallagher's ball played over to Salcedo. Salcedo called offsides, maybe just a half a step there. Michael Gallagher does not like it.
I think they've been right on the last two, to be honest. So I don't want to say she's having a tough time out there, but definitely maybe need more lines.
S2 switches the play now to the far side. Dylan Tevez with a cheeky little back heel touch in the middle of the park, given away immediately back to the Monarchs. Through Chase Minter, now Carson Hanlon. Max Lakowecki with a ton of space here on this near side right down in front of us. Salcedo isolated 1v1, ducks to his right. Finds Lakowecki, who cuts in on his left foot and fires a shot. High, wide, not at all handsome. He wanted that one really bad. How would you like to be a left back, excuse me, with 2 goals on the night as we look at this again?
I mean, that's one thing right there. You can see exactly what he's trying to do. His angle's been cut down, so he's trying to go high near post. And it would have been good if he had just, you know, kept his balance a little bit better. Keeper was out of position and already falling over. If he hits anything on frame, it's going in.
Even had Skylar Milne square at the top of the 6-yard box. Elects for the shot instead.
Ooh.
Ocampo challenging Moberg. S2 into the box with Camilo Santiago, broken up well there by Reagan Dunk.
It's one of the great things about Reagan. He doesn't buy into really anything. He's really good at standing his ground and waiting for you to actually make a move. He doesn't fall for the fakes too much. Look for the overlap here from Minter.
Buffo on his right foot. Give and go with Hanlon. Minter on the edge of the box. Gets his cross blocked out for yet another Monarchs corner.
Right idea there to keep it low, but really right idea to keep it low here. But instead of trying shooting it across, can he pass it across? Again, Skylar Milne had gotten to a great position. He's getting goal side of his defenders, but he's making great runs. They just need to find him. So hopefully he's saying something to him.
Salcedo at the low corner into Minter. Back out to Salcedo, who rifles a ball across the face of the box. Sam Fowler does well to touch that one up and over the bar. That's a dangerous ball, especially when the ball is slick like that. You can't really trust anything at that point if you're Sam Fowler.
Young Fowler right there doing his best Raimondo impression, trying to read the play. Bofo's a very tricky guy, though. You know, he sees him out a little bit, tries to go for that near post, and almost catches him.
Another corner coming up for the Monarchs. Salcedo to take again.
Good ball sent in. Oh.
Hanlon at the top of the area. Velasco, ooh, tries to find Moberg, streaking in towards the box. Wins the ball back. Blows by 3 defenders. Attempts a shot, blocked by the defender. S2 are away through Olsen. 1 ahead of him. He elects to play wide.
It's great to see Bofo still working back. Ricardo Velasquez comes up, you know, really waste some energy trying to dribble that and get the shot off. Bofo recovering for him, and that's what the Monarchs have been about all season.
Mark Briggs always preaching, never settle. The job's not done yet. Records, wins, goals, assists, it doesn't matter. Clean sheets, nothing's done. As Olsen has a shot here right into the grateful arms of Connor Sparrow. Really only his 2nd test of the night. So that ball skips right into him off the turf.
Going off the stats, it's what you expected. You know, you got 10 shots to 2, 66 to 33% possession. That's probably what Mark Briggs expected, at least on shots and on possession. But, you know, Sam Fowler and the defense have done a great job. And there's been a couple errant misses. You know, you had Chandler Hoffman in the first half. You had Bofo, you know, from the free kick. You know, maybe could have got those on goal. But, you know, Fowler has done a really good job for being such a young goalie.
Salcedo streaking down this near side, 1v1 with his defender outside the box, cuts in on his right foot, has a shot, deflects in a goal. Salcedo with his 2nd of the night, patting his chest, pointing to the sky. Excellent solo effort there as he tracked the ball down, cut inside, and fired in. Nothing Sam Fowler could do about that. after it takes the deflection.
Exactly what I said in the first half. He was a little bit off. He was going high. He was a little wide. If you shoot on target, you never know what might happen. Deflections happen. Bad hops happen. And this is a great play and a little bit of luck. But, hey, you make your luck.
That shot comes in there. Just looks like it bounces off the S2 center back. Watch the way he cuts in here. Gets the defender wrong-footed, creates the space, and there's nothing Grant or Fowler could do about that. They both knew nothing about it. 4-0 to the Monarchs here late in this second half. Just what they needed right in the 74th minute after that delay.
I'm sure Ezra Henderson is gonna probably say something to the center back Grant there, though. Turning your back to the ball, you got to be strong, you got to be brave, you got to be able to stand up and see the ball coming. You turn like that, it hits off your heel. If he had stayed in his position, he might have had a better chance at clearing that ball. The one thing that I do have to respect from the Sounders Academy, and they haven't really tried to get away from it, is they're really trying to play out of the back. It's maybe a little ill-advised because of the competition they're playing against and the level that they play at. But at the same time, you want to just keep practicing stuff that you want to pass through, that the first team does. And so you got to respect that. Like I said, the Monarchs are just waiting on them like a bunch of just jackals, just waiting for the ball to turn over.
Hyenas.
And everybody's taking a shot.
And it's such a big field, too, here. Credit to them for trying to play out of the back. And really, it's hard to do that with the Monarchs' pressure, but they've really stuck to their game plan. Tried to go forward and just have been closed down, but nonetheless, sticking to their guns. As Fowler collects out on the edge of his box after the ball goes through. Skylar Milne up top. Fowler sets the ball down, plays through the midfield, through Tevez. Pressured immediately by Gallagher. That's exactly what you were going to say.
Exactly, right there. You're down 4-0, and you're trying to play a ball into a midfielder with immediate pressure. That's not the easiest one for him to handle. Then he just plays it back. It's one of the things I hate the most is when they play it out wide just to play it back to the goalkeeper and then kick it up the field and have it, then your defense is stretched and you're out of position and you're vulnerable to the counterattack.
Paul Rothrock there with the foul on Ricardo Velasco right in front of the Monarchs bench. Now Hanlon with a big switch over to Reagan Dunk.
That was the nicest knee touch I've seen in a while.
Just make sure he knows that.
If I told him, he'd probably just smile and giggle, and that's it.
That's it.
One of the nicest guys you could ever want to meet, Reagan.
Jackson Reagan tries to play that ball up over the top, but finds the feet of Connor Sparrow with time and space. Back in his goal box, he plays it out to Taylor Pay for the early possession.
That might have been another thing that Briggs said. He's like, I don't want Connor Sparrow to get a stain on his jersey. I want him to come in and not even have to use the equipment manager. And to the point, he's only had to make 1 or 2 saves, and that's exactly the way this game should have gone. They're really sticking to their game plan. They're very unselfish. Their spacing has been amazing. Their running off the ball has been amazing, and then they're finishing quite good.
S2 with a corner, a throw in. And this is a change. This is a new man for Real Monarchs. Riggs Lennon getting set to come on.
The name
for
isn't
Chase.
New.
That's very true. The Lennon name is very familiar as Chase Minter makes way for Riggs Lennon, making his Real Monarchs debut after coming in near the first of the season.
That Brooks Lennon, I've dubbed him the Energizer Bunny. I've never seen just the will to run on somebody like him, and the engine that kid has is one of the most impressive things about him. So let's see if his brother possesses the same thing. Obviously, he won't have to go 90 minutes.
Sounders in, and a goal from Seattle Sounders. It's the substitute, Paul Rothrock, who sneaks in and gets past Taylor Payne. We talk about that blemish for Connor Sparrow. Guess what? Not only is it blemished, it's tarnished. There goes his clean sheet. He will not be happy about that as Sounders FC2 pull one back here in the 78th minute as they ready another substitution.
And that's that bright spot that we were talking about. We wanted to, as Ezra Henderson is, talking to his players, can we get that goal? Substitute comes in right before the lightning strike hits, and then 5 minutes after the lightning strike, he's got a goal.
And even more so, it was after they went down 4-0. They could have really folded up the lawn chair, but they decided to really come back out and, stay at the pool for a little while.
Kel Tomozawa comes into the game, for Camilo Santiago for the last 13 minutes or so.
Mark Briggs won't be happy about that. He won't be happy that they gave up. Oh, a nasty little hit.
It is a very tough hit, and immediately Tomozawa, his first bit of the game, takes out Ricardo Velasco very, very toughly and earns himself a booking. Yellow card there for him.
It's kind of what I was talking about in the beginning of the game when, they can be a little overexcited to get into the game and to play. And he had to wait even longer than most substitutes had to. So, like you said, it's not the first impression that you want to make.
Going back to Mark Briggs, being upset with giving up that goal. All of his assistant stood up and really looked at the bench to say what in the world happened, as we see referee Daniel Radford here wondering with this VAR testing if he should look at that maybe for a more bookable offense or a higher offense there, as we see him getting a talking to from his fourth official and the men upstairs.
Well, they had a white tent set up with the VAR already, but it looks like it's been packed away, so he might just be going off of what the fourth official might be saying to him. He might have some kind of a view of it and saying, hey, yeah, it was a red card. So I guess we'll see what unfolds.
See, this is where the stoppage in play affects me. The game is flowing, and now we're nearly a minute into the VAR. Even though this is just a test, but it interrupts the flow of the game so much. And a crucial point in the game, let's say just in theory, 85th minute, 90th minute, late in the game, and something happens and a team is looking for an equalizer, looking for a winner, that could seriously affect just the style of play and the motion of the game.
Well, unless the game's tied, and even if the game's tied, the team that's playing away from home is maybe just going for that point. And the problem with that is they are already stopping the game. The team that's ahead is already going to do all kinds of gamesmanship to slow the game down, and now you're just adding another
element.
Another element to slow the game down, to I guess let some of the guys that like to leave early from the fan section,
unfortunately,
let the traffic get out a little bit sooner than that.
Milne with the ball, finds Hanlon out wide. Cross into the box, finds Milne. Back out to Riggs Lennon, who fires his first touch in a Monarchs uniform right to the waiting arms of Sam Fowler, and then immediately sliding challenge to intercept Fowler's quick outlet. Well done there from Riggs Lennon.
He might just be exactly like his brother. That was unbelievable effort right there.
Monarchs fans will hope so.
I know he's going to beg for that one back. It was on his favored right foot. I know that his brother is probably going to give him some shtick for that. So let's hope he takes it a little easy on him.
Taylor Pay finds Lakowecki out wide. Now Gallagher in the middle, back to Pay.
That's that little movement that I'm talking about. There's always an option for the Monarchs, and they're just making it so easy to play with each other.
Sparrow, another giveaway out wide, stepped in well, Lakowecki to win that ball back. Ooh, tosses.
I think he thought that he was watching the MMA fights that were on tonight, to be honest.
As he tosses Paul Rothrock to the floor.
Sometimes they milk it, but that one I don't think had any milk to it.
Velasco out wide to Milne, streaking down the far side against Grant. One-on-one with Grant. Milne into the middle to Hanlon. Hanlon holds off his defender. Goes back to Milne out wide.
Hanlon really seems to, kind of get the game as it goes. He really gets more comfortable as it goes along, and that's a very important aspect for a center midfielder, is to, really find your place in the game, try and find the speed of it. He does
be situational.
Yeah, he really does a good job of that, it seems.
David Olsen with space to move. Plays the ball out wide. Back in the middle, Lorenzo Ramos, who's moved back into the midfield. Now Briscoe out wide for Seattle. Riggs applying pressure. Jackson Reagan looks to the entry ball to Olsen, who finds Tevez. Rothrock couldn't win that ball.
They can break
off
now.
go the Monarchs, 3v2. Ricardo Velasco out wide. Seattle Sounders 2 tracking back. Skylar Milne making a run in the box. Bofo gets it at the top of the box. Tries a nice little clip ball into the box, finds Riggs. Lennon on the far side. His left-footed cross over everybody and out for a goal kick.
He's got pace. He's got energy. He has a very tired right back. I would have loved to see Brooks. I would have loved to try to see Brooks, or I'm sorry, Riggs. Sorry. I really love to see Riggs right there. Take that defender on. You know, you just missed a shot inside. Go ahead and be selfish there. You know, everybody else is kind of in the box. You could have served in a good ball. Nobody made a really defining run. Go ahead and make a run at the guy.
Take the space that is given to you.
Absolutely.
Like you said, be selfish. Spate rises up to win that header over Olsen. Soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit NikeSoccer.com. Gallagher in the midfield again. I think Gallagher's done well coming in from his natural center back position to play in this midfield with Nick Beasler coming out, kind of getting a rest, a lot of minutes on Beasler's feet. And I think Gallagher has done a very, very good job. He's been very wary. He's put balls in the right positions. He's putting his teammates in the right positions.
Yeah, you really don't know whether or not that's a coach's desire or a player's desire. You know, especially when they're this young, you more kind of assume that it's a coach's desire. Hey, you're a great center back, but you're pretty good on the ball. And you got some size, you're a great ball winner. Maybe you'd make a good D-mid. That's what makes Kyle a great D-mid, is he wins a ton of balls. He's got great vision, a great touch. And, you know, if you see some of those aspects and some of those traits in another player, you might try and change his position.
Absolutely.
I mean, you got guys like Pay that can back him up, then that's not too bad either.
That's not a bad second option if that's what you're looking at. Sparrow, a little bit of gamesmanship, running some time as David Olsen applies pressure. Sparrow finds Gallagher. Gallagher to Dunk out wide. Dunk's really been pressing forward in this match.
I mean, the thing, I'm actually liking what Seattle's doing a lot more right now because they seem to be pressing higher up. They want to get that second goal. They have to go for it, obviously. But, you know, this would have been probably a tactic that they probably could have used a little bit earlier.
David Tevez blows by two defenders, wins the ball back from Lakawecki. His volley saved very, very well from Sparrow. Diving low to his right for that far post volley as it skimmed across the ground. Ooh, big collision there from Lakawecki and
like
Briscoe. They both came out no worse for the wear.
Thankfully, okay.
Skylar Milne wins the ball in the center circle, streaking forward, finds Salcedo out in front of the Monarchs bench. Salcedo, 2v1 on his right foot, plays the ball, tries to find Hanlon at the top of the box. Defender does well to step in and win that ball, and off goes Ocampo out wide. David Olsen streaking into the middle. Excellent defending there from James Moberg just to stand him up, and Ocampo pulls him back for the foul, and I don't think Moberg's having any of that tonight.
I've been on the receiving end of that a few times. I thought I got the best of a defender by pulling him out, and then a guy like Jamison Olave just shoved me to the ground and put me in my place.
Monarchs assistant coach Jamison Olave putting in several good shifts on strikers in Major League Soccer.
Hated playing against that guy. It was just like playing against Thor. Every part of his body is a different muscle.
Hanlon out wide and lets the ball get away with him. Throw in coming here for S2, 87th minute. Monarchs up 4-1. Sounders 2 nabbing a goal here in this second half after the weather delay. Bofo Salcedo, RSL man with two goals on the night. Chandler Hoffman, a goal and 2 assists, another good outing for him. David Olsen now, poked away by Pay, who finds Tomozawa out wide, 1v1 with Lakawecki. His touch into the box, cross, sliding challenge from Lakawecki. Very well done by Lakawecki to win the goal kick.
Max doesn't really have that first step. His legs can get caught pretty wide apart, but he's actually a really fast player. So he can recover really well, and we've seen that. It's been very hard. It looks like he's been beat 2 or 3 times so far, but he's gotten back and he throws in that sliding tackle, and they haven't really figured out that he likes to go to ground. When you figure that out about somebody, that's when you try and cut him back. But, you know, Max has done a terrific job tonight. Obviously, he had us a goal, and, you know, he's defended great. Could have had 2.
Could have had 2. Big man Skylar Milne rises up, loses out to 2 Seattle, 2 defenders.
And I think he got 2 points for the takedown, too. I think I saw the ref hold up, too.
Pay finds Velasco in the middle of the park. Velasco drifts out wide, looks for Salcedo long. Cut out well there by Jackson Reagan. Tomozawa takes down Ricardo Velasco. No foul, says Daniel Radford. Throw in for S2 and Briscoe.
That was probably the right call, but I want to say that Rico, he sold that pretty well.
Back to Connor Sparrow is Pay. Now back to Pay. Time and space in his own corner.
Pay could have just kept the ball right there until the end of the game, it seemed like. Nobody was going to pressure him.
At this point, the clock is Real Monarchs' best friend, up 3 goals, looking to put a gap between them and San Antonio.
Great strength.
Good body position there from Carson Hanlon to find Gallagher back, who finds Velasco in the middle of the field. And Velasco all the way through, and a save there by Sam Fowler.
I thought he probably should have played. He probably should have said Skylar Milne. That was one of the runs, though, that Skylar didn't really make. He got out wide well, away from the defender. If he had made a couple steps inside, I think Rico would have seen him a lot sooner and maybe played the ball his way instead of taking it himself.
Could see Milne waving his hands a little bit after that play.
He's a hard guy to miss, though.
It's a very hard guy to miss. Connor Sparrow being pressured by Ocampo. Ocampo does well to deflect that ball out for a throw-in. Nervy moments there for the Monarchs goalkeeper, Lakawecki, to take the throw-in here on this near side.
I think Connor's really got to learn that has to be done with his left foot. No matter if it's not his favorite foot or not, take a touch away from the forward that's advancing. You can't take that touch and then step back. You're always going to get put under pressure. And if they see you doing that enough, they're just going to key on that, and they're going to try and hunt you down.
1 minute of stoppage here to close out this game. Monarchs again looking for the full 3 points, and will most likely move to 9-0-0 here at Rio Tinto Stadium.
Just just another impressive record that they've really kept hold of. They're only going to be a few wins away. I know this is going to be creeping in the back of their minds every single home game. This was an easier home game for them to have tonight just because of the Frankfurt game in Seattle and the S2 players playing in that one. But they handle business as they should. I know Mark Briggs definitely wanted the shutout, and I'm sure that they'll probably get a little bit of an earful for that. And they definitely could have scored more.
Real Monarchs will move to 43 points on the season, and that will do it. Daniel Radford blows his whistle. That is full time after the weather delay. Both teams will head back into the locker room. Chad, it was kind of a strange game with this weather delay, but in the last 15 to 20 minutes or so that we saw of the second half, what were your biggest takes away from that?
I think there was good things for both sides. I think that S2 did what they wanted to. They wanted to get that goal. Obviously, you want to come back from a win, and try and make a game out of it. But with all the stuff that happened in the second half, the constant pressure from Real Monarchs, the lightning delay, there's a lot of distractions and a lot of things that these kids probably aren't used to. So I want to congratulate them for coming back and getting that goal, especially as a substitute. Bofo had an unbelievable game today. It was always going to be one result.
Who's your man of the match tonight?
I got to give it to Bofo. I got to give it to Salcedo. I thought that he played it amazing today. He came down with the right mental attitude. He didn't come down just take a break off, which a lot of people can do. I think I've done in the past, and that's just not something that you really want. He came out there with the right mentality. Even when he wasn't going forward, he was rushing back. He's working on his fitness, and scoring 2 goals is only going to build confidence.
Now, how do Sounders to get back to I guess, winning ways. They came here off a 2-0 win in Vancouver. What do they need to do to regroup? Not only, of course, get their first team back, so to speak, but what do they need to do to start preparing for their next match?
I think that Ezra is just going to take it as that. He's going to get his team back. He's going to get his boys back. A team that has played with each other, that they have cohesion. They understand set pieces better. They won't make mistakes. They're going to be better building out of the back. And all these things need to come back. So I don't really think he's going to think too much about this game. It's a good learning experience for the academy. They realize how hard it is to play on the road in the USL. And that just goes to the same thing in the MLS.
Looking ahead for the Monarchs, their next game at San Antonio, battle of the two leaders both in the league and the West. How do the Monarchs prepare for this? They've got some time. They've got 2 weeks now, July 22nd being the next game down at Toyota Field. What do they need to do to stay healthy, get healthy, and prepare for San Antonio?
Well, they'll be out without some guys like Sebastian Velasquez most likely, but hopefully they'll get Charlie Adams back. You had Chandler only go 60 minutes tonight. They're going to be well rested. They're going to be ready to go. It's a very exciting game, and they have an opportunity. It's a 6-point swing at the top. It could really propel them to almost uncatchable, if they keep up their current form and if they keep up their home record.
Well, fans, thank you for sticking the weather out with us. We sure enjoy having you here at Rio Tinto Stadium. Monarchs win 4-1. For myself, Chad Barrett, we'll see you next time.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent from the United Soccer League.